We begin with a controversial decision made by Gambian President Yahyah Jammeh, who is being internationally condemned for the executions last month of 9 death row prisoners. The executions were carried out despite repeated appeals from the international community not to follow through.
A Gambia National Day of Outrage was declared against President Jammeh on Tuesday, and demonstrations were held in Norway, Denmark, Great Britain, and multiple cities in the United States. And another protest is planned for New York on Thursday. Here in Washington yesterday, Gambians in the diaspora and other protesters gathered outside Gambian Embassy to express their discontent over the execution of death row inmates in Gambia. Persamba Joe, one of the coordinators of the National Day of Outrage, says the executions violated the Gambian Constitution. But Gambian Vice President Ousainou Mbenga has accused Gambians abroad and foreigners of politicizing the executions. She says the executions were carried out in line with the Gambian Constitution. Now, for more discussion on the brewing controversy, we are joined in the studio by Ousainou Mbenga, a coordinator of the Gambia National Day of Outrage. Mr. Mbenga, welcome to In Focus. Sorry, I may have messed up your name.
Okay.
But first up,
thank you.
What does the Gambian Constitution say about executions? Sincerely.
Okay. The Gambian Constitution clearly states that if somebody has been accused of a criminal act, that you go to court, the courts try you, and after the courts try you and fine you, if they find you guilty, then the persons have the right to appeal. And that has never happened. Jammeh is indicating that, like they had run out their appeals, and that never happened. So the Constitution, actually there is no Constitution in the Gambia. Everything is
the Vice President says the Constitution that was endorsed in 1974 provides for capital punishment. Does it or does it not?
No, see, that's what I'm saying. They're flipping things the wrong way. The 1974 Constitution, did not explicitly say that, people people who are charged with crimes can be executed in the way the AFPRC and Jammeh, is interpreting the Constitution. Because nobody has been executed in that country, since the 80s, after the 1981 coup, and actually there is somebody, who currently was, sentenced to death, and they commuted his death sentence. And Jammeh came in, and disregarded the commuting of that death sentence, and included this person, to be executed, to be on death row. So as we, it's very clear that the Constitution in the Gambia belongs to Yahyah Jammeh. He has these mercenary judges, who he pays.
But they say that the Constitution was actually endorsed by the citizens. Jammeh has been elected not once, twice, right. And it says got in by about 75% of the Gambian voters. So how do you accuse this person of owning the Constitution and being kind of operating outside of the Constitution?
Well, okay, I mean, see, this is politics. Jammeh, Jammeh can determine, how the voting process goes. He intimidates everybody. He's the only one that goes on television. He's the only one that goes on radio, TV. So the opposition parties, are practically, emasculated and chained, to even participate in this process that they call democracy. So
now, talking about, very quickly, because I want us to look at the whole concept of executions. You're in the United States having all these demonstrations. Somebody will tell you, hey, there are states in the U.S. that execute people. Now, what's the problem if the Gambians under their Constitution are doing the same?
Okay. No, see, I don't have any problem with the death penalty. If it is done across the board, I don't have any problem with it. But tell me anywhere in this world where the death penalty is, applied to people, in power or rich people. Across the planet Earth, death penalty is for poor people and people who don't have power to fight back. So that's the reason why I'm saying if the death penalty, is to be instituted, let's do it across the board. And he will be the first one to be executed because he had killed a lot of Gambian soldiers, civilians, and no investigation has been conducted on those things. So I don't have any problem with that. But if we do it across the board, because it's not a deterrent, it hasn't deterred, people killing other people anywhere. it's the ruling class, the people who are in power who make it legal, and they have the right, or the power to apply it any way they deem necessary. Yeah. So I don't have any problem with it. If we want to do it in the Gambia, let's do it across the board.
It looks like you're starting a conversation, and we hope that conversation will continue in Gambia.
Yes.
Thank you very much. We do appreciate very much your perspective, Mr. Ousainou Mbenga, who is a coordinator of the Gambian National Day of Outrage, and Focus is reaching out to the Gambian Embassy in Washington for their view on this matter.